My name is Ashok Ojha. I am the Program Director of Yuva Hindi Sansthan, New York University, FULBRIGHT-HAYS Group Project Abroad, Hindi Curriculum Development Project for 2024. This project is sponsored by the Department of Education, United States, and their International and Foreign Language Office. The mandate that I have is we have to give some training and a skills improvement of language teachers. In our case, it is Hindi. Language teachers must have the cultural background in a very robust way about the culture where the language originated. Myself and my academic consultant, Professor Gabriela Nikileva of New York University, decided that create a thematic proposal. And the theme was that we decode stories from the ancient monuments and historical sites. That way, we can access the stories that are very ancient, old, and also traditional. At the same time, we decided that India is a land where the folk culture is widespread. Almost everywhere, there is a folk tradition of songs, of dances, of stories, even art, and they also tell stories of the people, of the gods, and the tradition. So we wanted our participants of Fulbright-Hayes GPA project to study all of this and learn more about the cultural context of the language of Hindi. To that end, we recruited 12 participants, out of which 3 are PhD candidates. PhD, I mean, one is from San Francisco, University of San Francisco, Daniel Mango. The other one is Nilakshi Fukan. She is a full-time Hindi professor at North Carolina State University. And the third one is Kusum Nebzik from Duke University, and she is a very experienced teacher of Hindi. In addition, we also recruited teachers from the school districts and from other colleges. Irina Babik from the YHS State University in Idaho. She applied and we accepted her to be a participant. Then there are 3 teachers from the community schools. We accepted them. So in all, we have 12 participants in the group, and they were led by myself and our academic consultant, Professor Gabriela Ileva, to various places in India. The objective was that we learn, we explore, we experience the cultural traditions of this country. So first, we went to Ajanta Ellora, where the Buddhist tradition of cave temples and monasteries have been in existence for a long time. As we know, in Ellora, we have the famous Hindu temple that is known as Kailash Temple, and it is still gives a very awesome impact on visitors, on viewers. The way the whole mountain has been carved out to create this Kailash temple in Ellora, and also various images of animals, the fighting animals in the war. So between Ajanta and Ellora, we spent about 1 week for our participants to see for themselves. And we also have an art historian, Prita Mukherjee from Rutgers University, and she explained the context of these images. So that way, Ajanta Ellora was a great experience for our participants, and they could decode a number of stories, because both these places are having like dozens of caves, temples, monasteries, and mathas of olden days that people go to see. From Ajanta Ellora, we wanted to take a break, so we went to Mumbai, and there was a get-together event with the Hindustani Prachar Sabha, the organization that was established by none other than Mahatma Gandhi. And he wanted Hindustani language, the mix of Hindi and Urdu, to be the national language of India. Anyway, the Hindustani Prachar Sabha is still very active, and they invited us. We went there, and we had great interaction on language learning over there. From Mumbai, we traveled to Bhopal, and Bhopal is the place where we had number of collaborations. The first one was Ravindranath Tagore University, and their chancellor, Mr. Santosh Chaubey, spent a day with us talking about the university and also motivating the performance of singers at his university. In addition to that, next morning we went to Sanchi, that is about 50 kilometers from Bhopal, to see the ancient stupas. The stupas, which are the symbols of storing the ashes of Bhagwan Buddha, and that was done by the later kings who followed Buddhism. And there is one stupa which is surrounded by various gates and images of bodhisattvas and Jataka tales. So we had an art historian, Narayan Vyas, who came with us to explain those stories. And those stories are about human beings, how you can help your people to live better, how you can celebrate the religion, the philosophy of Buddhism here in this case. And there are many gates. So our participants explored all the images, all the structures, the ancient one in Sanchi. And there is a state government owned university called Indic Buddhist University. And the chancellor, vice chancellor of that university, Mr. Vedanath Lav, he invited us to meet with his faculty and students, and we did that. And we had almost half a day at that university, and this was a great opportunity to interact with the students and teachers of ancient philosophy in India, in Sanchi. We traveled to Khajuraho, and that is the place for temples, cave temples, dedicated to Mahadeva and Vishnu and also Krishna. And in Khajuraho, we also visited neighboring villages, and the local instructor, Professor Parmar, he guided us, and we could witness the life of people, also people who live in the villages. Who performed songs and dances, and they wanted to entertain us, but we were very keen, our participants were very keen to experience their culture and learn from that. So we spent about 4 days in Khajuraho, and then we flew to Varanasi, Sarnath, where we have collaborative arrangement for Banaras Hindu University, Vasanta College for Women, and the Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies in Sarnath. And we spent about 5 days in Sarnath and Varanasi. Sarnath, we saw the ancient site where Buddha himself gave his first sermon. We also, the participants had a chance to look at, observe, and study the big stupa made by Emperor Ashoka. So this was a great experience. At the Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies, they could study the fresco and Jataka tales that is depicted on the buildings and its walls and ceiling. And that was a wonderful experience, cultural experience for our participants. Our final destination was Delhi. So we flew from Varanasi to Delhi, and in Delhi, our host was Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts. This is a premier institution that promotes Indian culture. So whether it is stories through the various performance, art traditions, paintings, or stories, or other forms of art, we witness, experienced, and listen to the experts at IGNCA, which has very kindly has designated one smart room, conference kind of room, where we arrived every day, and we listened to their experts, and we also interacted with them. And they organized sightseeing to Red Fort and also Rashtrapati Bhavan, where we could see the latest work of handicrafts, the artisans' work in Red Fort, and the travel museum at Rashtrapati Bhavan was worth watching. That gave you overall perspective of the Indian culture, which is thousands of years old and never interrupted, very strong, and it gives a very correct and very robust kind of backdrop of the tradition that we inherit in this country since the before Christ days, since Buddha's. And we completed our 1 month project, a study tour project in Delhi. And today, March 30th, everyone is going back to USA, and it has been a wonderful experience. And I thought we have enough material that will be used by these participants in phase 3 of the program to develop their final material, final teaching material to educate children of tomorrow, to educate whoever wants to learn about Indian culture and Hindi language. So we have a varieties of themes, diverse teaching material collected by the participants that are going to be used to create documents for teaching in the schools and colleges and for even community schools, so that when you learn Hindi tomorrow, you have a very strong knowledge and skills of the socio-cultural perspective from India. And we are following the actual guidelines, and our goal is that we have to observe the proficiency guidelines that talk about the strong relationship between culture and the language.